Hello, intrepid viewers. Dr. Lena coming to you from Spring in Australia. It's Tuesday morning, so overnight, our time, the Yeti has been stumbling around Egypt with his Sharpie and presumably has signed this document. I'd love to call it a peace deal, but it isn't really because there's no mention of a two-state solution. And I don't think either side are happy with the conditions. But let's roll with it for now because, of course, it is a major, major, major positive development. So please don't think I'm howling it down. I'm just not that optimistic about it holding. So I'm just going to have a quick look at the peace deal. But first, I just want to thank Governor Pritzker, Illinois. He's so brave, and he's been threatened with arrest by Agent Orange. And he said, "Come and get me." Good on him. This is the sort of approach you have to do with the bully, isn't it? Yeah. But he also said, it's time for the Trump family and those who care about him. Well, you could count those on two fingers, couldn't you? Um, to have an intervention. He's too far gone. The dementia's too advanced. He's unreliable and he's at the mercy of his aides. And Pritzker actually singled out his aides, saying they're taking advantage of his dementia. So cleverly worded. But let's dive in. The Egyptian deal, which of course has been brokered by Qatar and other places. It's not just Trump. Anyway, let's have a look. Hmm. Oh dear. Okay. Well, yes, finally, the chariot is here. It had to stop, which let's hope that means these 2,000-pound bombs won't continue to be dropped on a tiny place like Gaza. So it is definitely movement. It is going forward, but in the Knight of Wands, the horse is being reined in. So it's proceed with caution, and that's understandable for both sides. However, I think from a Palestinian perspective, not there yet. This deal represents the light in the window here. So it is a glimmer of hope and also more global support. Queen of Wands, now in all of this, very few women have been involved in these negotiations, which is not surprising given the gender makeup of the region we're talking about. But this is a more mature woman. And I know that I've seen academic Palestinian women making very strong, deliberate, sensible cases for how this could move forward. So perhaps the Queen of Wands is in the background in this. But will it hold? I don't think so. So hopefully it won't return to the sheer destruction. But in a way, this is the destruction, the physical destruction of Gaza. And if what I've read is true, they're putting the Yeti, who doesn't know what day it is, in charge of Gaza or in charge of this plan. And Tony Blair from the UK, who's one of the most disappointing politicians in modern history because he has a brain, and he's the one that led us into the weapons of mass destruction by supporting Bush. Remember that saga? Right. So It's not his area of specialty either, which of course means Israel will control Gaza indefinitely. Now, I understand the need for security. However, I think what's happening too is Netanyahu is being pushed by his far right, who are not happy with this plan. So everyone who's a player is wedged by something. Okay, so let's just jump now to Venezuela because another boat has been destroyed, and one of them was from Colombia, which drags another country into this nightmare. And Maduro in Venezuela, who I don't think is a nice man. Now, he's smart enough, he's been offering America new fresh deals on oil and stuff, because this is all about the oil. All the conflicts are always about the oil in the end, aren't they? Or soon to be. So he's made some quite generous offers to America, but there's no one in Trump's administration who can process what these things are and what they mean and how good an offer it is. No, he's only as good as his right ear in the last 5 minutes. So what's going to happen going forward with Venezuela? Is the US going to have a war with Venezuela and possibly invade? Ugh. Ah, got the chariot again. The whole time I was raving. Hmm. Okay. So again, movement. This is, I think, um, unfortunately, I think this is the Yeti going forward with his plan because he's the only guy that can do a deal. The man has never negotiated a deal in his life. I digress, viewers. He called his conversation with Xi a negotiation, which is laughable in the face of the Asian mindset and how you would do a deal. It's the opposite of negotiation. He just bullies people into submission or they walk away. Right. But he's not stopping here in terms of Venezuela. There'll be a war of lies. Oh, quelle surprise. Um, on why it's important for the American people to take over another country, you know. This will end badly. Well, I don't think it'll end well for Venezuela, but I think it'll end badly for Trump too, because for whatever reason, MAGA doesn't like all this money being spent on overseas adventures. They really don't. Right? Hold on a minute, I've just got to pause. So to come back to this, I think it's restricting for both sides. I think it'll lose Maduro power and it certainly will lose the Yeti because MAGA's not keen on these foreign ventures. Often the ships coming in can be the ships coming in this case, coming into Venezuela, but could also be floating political war balloons. All right? More threats going out to Venezuela. Oh, now, in stateside news, the US Postal Service is in crisis. Now, it's been in crisis for a long time since it was taken over by the moronic DeJoy. And I've seen little snippets of postal delivery people who have absolutely impossible schedules. Do you say schedule or schedule? We say schedule. So they've got vans full of these things. They've only got X hours to deliver it. So they're constantly stressed. Then on top of that, you've got the restriction on other countries, including Australia, refusing to use the postal service. However, China, I think, still is. That means there's products piled to the ceiling in warehouses. And now, with federal workers furloughed, it's the piles are so high. There's talk, this is how corrupt even the postal service has become, of destroying the parcels they've got because there's too many to distribute. Have you caught up with this? I mean, for a first world country, it is so not. We're looking at third world health, third world education. Oklahoma, proudly the 50th state in education, would go lower if it could, hates someone getting a bit of schooling. This is third world stuff. Okay. And as for Florida and Texas, competing for who can destroy their own economy quicker. It's a race. I think they're pretty even, Florida and Texas. I'm going to have a quick look at each of them. Florida's housing market is collapsing as we speak, and Texas has lost oil jobs, lost manufacturing jobs. Let's just look at Florida first. I think it's very messy in Florida. Look, need I say more about what's happening? The snowbirds aren't coming back this year, next year, or ever, right? They're not coming back. Sorry to break the news. Other tourists aren't coming because none of us want to be bailed up by the customs goons. They're as bad as ice. You know, they treat every tourist like a potential criminal. I put these cards separately in the deck. We're seeing themes. That's what this means when these cards keep turning up. Themes. So this is an attempt by DeSantis to um, actually steer the ship forward, what he's telling people, but his days are numbered. In fact, I'd go as far as he's dead in the water. I think what you're going to see is a flight, a fiscal flight from Florida. So for those who have big money, they're going to take it out of the state. Mhm. Ooh. So I know quite a few of you live in these states. So none of this will be a surprise for you, and you can let me know in the comments how it's impacting you in your everyday life. By the way, people have been asking me how long will the shutdown last? I think it's going to be at least a month. I'll just look at Texas and then I'll look at that. Texas economy, Texas. I think that's, I think that's Governor Abbott. Texas is running on nostalgia. That's the diesel fumes, right? Everything was better back in the day. The current backwoods government is not capable of catching up with the modern world. They're in defensive mode, they're in secret mode. Things are worse than most Texans realize. Like, I think people instinctively know it's bad, but things are being hidden that are going to blow open the Texas stuff. Bless Beto. This, I think, is Governor Abbott, who's quite happy to have women having to carry dead babies in their uterus because they can't be properly treated and given first world healthcare. This is stone. You can't move him and you can't change him. Oh my. China, of course, said during the recent non-negotiation, and sorry, I'm jumping around, a lot on the brain this morning. You can tariff all you like, but we've got the rare earth minerals or access to them. And that's what sent Trump into a spin. So China still has all the cards. Now, I just want to take a quick look here because AI and the big techs are holding up the stock market. There's an artificial inflation of the health of the stock market because the AI and high-tech stocks are doing so well. But look, these techno bros, they're these inarticulate, immature, maladjusted boys. I don't know how long it's going to stay afloat. I really, we'll see. We'll see about the techno bubble. Now, let's just have a look at the shutdown. What is it in Mississippi? There were three multiple shootings in Mississippi over the weekend for homecoming ceremonies. What's that? It's the Wild West or the Wild South. Shutdown. Oops, what flew out? Oh, this is some sort of deal to end the shutdown, but not yet. So I think this is the strength of the Dems holding out. You know, they've learned something from the response to the last one. They've got to hold the line for healthcare. It's going to go on, I think, so long that there's going to be legal interventions. I mean, this is only a week and a half or something, and they're nowhere near it. Why? Because of the Epstein business. So there will be some moves here. Remember the reined in horse? Towards this, which is the goal, behind the scenes, but not yet. The hanged man, things are suspended, hung up. Right. Epstein. Next time I'll have a look at the Epstein reveals. And haven't we got queer allies now, everybody, with MTG that keep saying sensible things? It's extraordinary. It's like someone else has inhabited her brain. Can't trust her, and she'll be back to Jewish lasers and other conspiracies at the flick of a switch. But for now, she's saying decent things. Bizarrely, so is Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan, who, bless, isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. He, I'm sorry, I don't want to be unkind, but the man is an amoeba. Whoever's in front of him has his whole attention and he's a convert to their point of view. Yeah. But still, he is very affected and vocal on a very big platform about the cruelty of ICE. And that's an important voice. So look, guys, I've got to rush off, but I'll be back in a couple of days. I'll do one early because this one was so rushed. So, mwah, from Australia, you've got a big fat Australian kiss. Okay? So let me know your thoughts. All the best. Bye.